I brought both gloves. There we go. Woohoo! Last time I was up here, it was so damn hot I couldn't even wear a jacket. Alright, let's go. Nice and small. Run, clutch in. Alright, we're neutral. Thank you, sir. All right, so I kind of scooterish riding position. A little bit more than scooterish power. A little bit not too bad. I mean, this isn't anywhere near as low as an R6, and I just showed that already on. It's actually lower than the FC6R, but not as low as an R6, and a little bit lower than the FC07. Let's go run into this guy right here. Alright. Oh, there's no power. Nothing. I mean, if you've got time, it'll get you up to speed, but it doesn't have any power. Not at 5,000 or 6,000 RPM anyway. But, you know, motorcycle. So let's go see here. We're taking a different route, looks like this time. This is going to loop around behind the building. Gear indicator. Clutch is light enough. Certainly not a problem. No real, there's a lot of throttle play here, but not too bad. So the chick riding the tail behind us has been riding these demos since as long as I've been riding them. Oh shit, that's 9,000. All right, so it's got some. It'll move, but it's not as dangerous as a 2x4 on a baseball field. Yeah, you can hit a bat with it, but I'm a ball with it, but that's not like what I would want to swing. It has just enough power to outrun a Ninja 300. No more. And if you're one of those guys that likes to rev the shit out of bikes just so you can think that you're actually going fast without going fast, this is your bike. You're used to riding a 250, this is your bike. I mean, damn, it's barely moving in first gear. If your kid wants to buy a motorcycle and is asking you to help him to co-sign it or pay for it, and you're like going, what bike should I get him so that he doesn't run out and race it off a brick wall, into a brick wall or something. I can't say that this bike is safe, despite the fact that it's slow, because it will go fast. And I still say, no matter how you talk about these light bikes with no power and that have virtually no acceleration, they still will go 75 miles an hour, and that's plenty to kill you on a bike. If you go 75 miles an hour into something that's not moving at all, or you really don't want to move. Now, the one thing I noticed on the ride up here, that's like 2/3 throttle right there. I mean, Jesus. It's got a better sounding motor, and it's certainly smoother than the Ninja 300, and it probably is geared a little bit longer, but I wouldn't say it's fast at all, not in the slightest, no way. No shape. That's full throttle. Full throttle up to the 11,000 RPM red line. I would never ever do that on any kind of real bike, unless it was just so low in RPMs, I knew it would never pick up the throttle. This is a toy that can get you killed, like a .22 rifle. Yeah, you can shoot bullets with it, but it's not like it has any real recoil whatsoever. But still, if you put it in your mouth or point it at somebody's head and pull the trigger, you can do some real damage. So, not something I take for granted, but not something I take seriously. This way, you're going to do a lot of momentum riding on this bike, a lot of corner speed. You want to go out and race bikes in the twisties. You'll be doing a lot of corner speed management. But I'm glad we took this route because I was getting tired of the other route. I'd like to take this thing and run it up and down 56 a couple of times. Riding a 6 grand. I mean, it's okay. Actually, it's not even that bad of a commuter bike because it's so upright. The clip-ons are mounted on like a 1-inch or 2-inch riser. So immediately the first thing I could see happening would be to put some flat risers on it and bring the bars down up, you know, an inch or so. This is a commuter bike riding position, clearly. Clearly. Anyway, so I was saying that the girl who's chasing us is more than fast enough. 11 grand. More than fast enough in those damn cruisers, man. She can ride. Ah, beautiful day to be off a ride. Beautiful. Glad I wore my jacket. Nice temperature right now. Wearing a jacket. The wind. I mean, this is just crawling. 36 miles an hour. So, okay, a legitimate entry into the world of motorcycling for people who want something that's somewhat between a touring bike and a sport bike. I suppose this thing could qualify as a sport bike. The front suspension seems to be slightly underdamped, and there's no adjustability, so that's going to be how it is. Brakes seem to be decent. Riding at 4,500 RPM and 33 miles an hour. A little bit of response to the throttle, not much, you know, somewhat. It's there. No throttle surge, which is good. But they just got so much play. I mean, you can do a large amount of twisting of the throttle before this thing will even begin to accelerate in 4th gear at 5,000 RPM, and I'm not sure it's really worth trying at a lower. Well, let's go down 1 gear. So this is probably a little bit higher than I would ride it normally. Oh, this is a nice ride. I hope we can do this on the Suzuki ride. I only signed up for 2 demo rides, one for the Gixxer 1000 and one for this one. And we were the only 2 guys on the ride, so I could probably ride all day long, or at least until 4 o'clock. Try not to kill ourselves going around this turn. Doesn't seem like it has a slipper clutch. Yeah, it's brisk, you know, brisk power. You're not gonna want for speed. What you might want for is acceleration. But other than that, you know, and if it gets 80 miles a gallon, that's even better. I guess it'd be like 60 to 80 miles a gallon. Yeah, this is a much better ride than we took before. The ride that we took before is actually maybe a little bit too tight. We'll just stay right here. I'm not big on flying bikes around in the twisties, man. I'll take that acceleration, come out of the turn, straighten it up, any day of the week rather than going whipping around the corner at some ridiculous lean angle. That's why I would rather be riding behind a girl, because she's exceptionally good on these twisty roads on that bike. This guy seems to be riding to a little high on the bike. The leader rolling at 7,000, which is obviously a little high RPM noise-wise, but so now we're running at about 52, 41 in fourth, at 200 RPMs, 41 miles per hour in fourth gear, and we're coming up these hills. And what I like about it is it has a much smoother power band than the FZ07. Doesn't seem like there's like this two-stroke power band almost, but it doesn't have the throttle surge of either the FZ07, much less the FZ09. Much better throttle throttle response. It's a good commuter. I would buy this bike just to commute on. Although, well, you know, it's slow. I'd probably get the FZ6R first. But as a commuter bike, it is more than adequate. And if you want to race it on the weekends, it'd probably be great for that. So I'm glad I came up here and took this ride. This has certainly been worth the trouble. What do we got here? Yeah, I can't see shit. Yeah, I mean, that's about as fast as it can go, man. Right there. We're now doing 40. 75 in RPM in third gear, we're doing 40 miles an hour. It's, Jesus Christ almighty. So I would say, if you look at it on the positive side, this is what a bike, you know, a Triumph, twin, single, you know, this is what Yamaha could technically have made and sold for years but didn't. And you know, I guess it's fun enough in the sense of riding around on a two-wheel mobility scooter. And I'm sure it'll do well in terms of, you know, low-end racing classes. Although I definitely think well, maybe for track it might be all right. Tracks tend to be smoother, but you also tend to hit the smoother bumps at higher speeds than you would on riding on the street. So it's a give and take. Probably want to firm it up a little bit just for the reducing the pitch. And the bike is light enough. It handles adequately, but not too light. I wouldn't say it's a flippy flyer on our bike. I really don't like riding corners, like flying corners this fast. I wouldn't say it's a lot better than my bike in terms of handling, and my bike weighs, you know, probably a good 200 pounds more. My bike is one of the most pathetically slow handling bikes on the road. It's not as bad as a Busa, but I wouldn't say it's, you know, anywhere near your leader bike in terms of handling. Oh, and another note, they no longer demo the R1. They've decided that it's a track bike. Even the R1, not the R1M, is a track bike, and therefore will be demoed on the track. So they're aligning with the Yamaha Championship Riding School in Nesba, and which means I will never get to demo it if I have to go through Nesba. So we maybe. I mean, that's gonna get old fast. It just is just not enough there in first and second gear to be anything more than a upsized scooter. Probably gonna start ignoring first gear as soon as you can. Immediately shift up. Well, if you're one of those riders that thinks you're going fast because you're doing a lot of shifting, you're gonna have a ball on this bike. At least shifting through the first 3 gears before you're bogging the engine. That's a nice little ride. Welcome to Johnstown, Pennsylvania. One thing is I do have a tendency to do some steering into the turn because it's so light, and that actually works, where it doesn't work on a bigger bike. You really can't get away with so much steering into the turn. Be careful not to do that. Tendency to get sloppy on a bike this small and this light. Instead of making all the big movements that you need to make for, safety-wise, tendency just to steer. Don't move at all, just steer, which is not a good thing. Cruising on at 5,500 RPM, 32 miles an hour. I just opened the throttle halfway and it barely moved. Just ease the throttle open. Got right over in front of me. I was looking at the tack. Looked up and he's 20 feet in front of me. I don't really like riding in formations. Really have to be careful not to let the fact that it's such a light bike lead you into doing things you shouldn't be doing. That's 3/4 throttle, and I'm now at 9, coming down from 9,000 RPM. This thing is slow, there's no question about it. But is it slower than a Ninja 300? No, I would still say, looking at this bike, riding this bike, I'd still say you'd want it at least an FC6R. At least. At least. And I may have to take a demo on it just to see if I can get like a 3:34 o'clock demo ride on it. Just to make that point clear. Alright, so next is the Gixxer 1000 with ABS. And we're gonna go out there and see how the Gixxer is on that hopefully the same route. Hopefully, I swear to God, I hope it's the same route. Gotta be careful riding this bike not to do a lot of steering with the handlebars and get yourself into trouble where the handlebars are crossed up with your body and the bike. And you're steering, you want to go left, and you're already steering right, and all you can do at that point is throw your body to the left. Because you try to steer to the left, at that point you're just going to fly off the outside of the bike. And, oh Jesus. Can you imagine this thing with a Yash, or what are the Graves? Imagine this thing with an open pipe. Oh, I mean, it sounds nice. It does. It just has no power, but it sounds good. Look at that. That's a shot right there. From over the bridge into Johnstown. Over the creek. It just makes no... I would say no. I would say... It makes... it's a little faster than a scooter. No slipper clutch, probably, I guess. A little faster than a scooter. Here's a little vibration coming up through the seat now. Not much. To let you know it's running. Alright, we're going to cut this off because we pretty much seen what we need to see, unless we want to get some video coming back in into the shop. Why not? I think I got enough battery to get me in and out of there. There's a old, I'm not sure what that is, Yamaha something Seika? Not sure what that is. Good transmission, I gotta give it credit for that. It does shift fairly confidently, but I would say, man, you know, I just can't see buying it unless you want something that'll get you like 80 or 75, 80 miles to the gallon that you can ride across country. I think it's a lot of money for a bike that has no power. A lot of money. But if you're into the mileage, I guess it would be a good all-around balance. But for a regular use bike, no question I would go with the 6R first. No question about it. Now when I came in here, the last time I came in here, not today, I came in on the other end of that street, and man, that road was cool. It was you want to talk about twisties. That was the road to take. Take that road right here, go straight out south down the 56 instead of taking the 271 entrance in the 56. Take the last one, and then you come up back through these back roads. It is killer, not literally, hopefully, but fun. A little trouble getting it out of the neutral. Same thing I had when I started. It was a little hard to get it out of neutral. Oh my God. I think it's a little bit longer, certainly geared longer, and has a little bit more power than the Ninja 300, which first gear in the Ninja 300 is just useless for anything except making a lot of noise. So I would buy this before I buy the Ninja 300, but I would buy the FJ6R before I buy this. No question about it. Undoubtedly, I would buy the 6R before I bought this. Except for the mileage. Yeah, buddy. Except for the mileage. How's it going? I was wishing you were leading us because you're a little bit better rider than he is. Not that he's bad, but guy's dragging his feet. That's probably just as well, because probably heard that in the intercom. This guy's Porsche. Verhurst Motorcycle Service. Okay, you have to be a little careful, make sure it's in neutral, not out of first gear. In gear, I should say. The only trick about it. You gotta hate it when a girl's standing next to a sign that says, "Please do not enter." Solid hubs, man. I haven't seen those in a while. I wonder if my car's still there. What's up? Slim in the back seat. The window up. Yeah, a little tricky to get off first. You probably want to wind it up a little bit. Ooh. But it handles well. Enough. Not a problem. Not a bad bike. Just no redeeming value in terms of the power. Sad to say, but true. If you put a big bore kit or something like that, you could get another 50% power. It might be decent.